All right, it says I can convert different forms of linear equations to slope-intercept form. What is slope-intercept form? Does anyone remember? Starts like this. Y equals mx plus b. That is slope-intercept form. So all those equations that were just in your Explore activity, not all of them were in slope-intercept form, were they? Which made it more confusing because we know how to pick a graph from slope-intercept form. We don't from all these other different forms. Okay? The two other forms that you're going to see a lot about and you'll see in algebra next year is something called standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. That was like that number 6 that I was pointing out. And then point slope, y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. This is something you will see in algebra a lot next year. Okay? All right. These two right here are standard form. The whole goal of Content Objective 4 is converting it to slope-intercept form every time. So if it's slope-intercept form, what's on a side by itself? What letter is on a side by itself? Y is on a side by itself. The M has the X and the B has the M and the X. This side has a lot. We want to get Y on a side by itself. So to do that, we're going to start balancing. This is why we did Unit 1 first, the equations. So we're going to add 5x to this side. Whatever I do to one side, what? Whatever I do to one side, I have to do it to the other. So I'm going to add 5x over here. Opposites cancel. Now, I cannot combine these. You guys kept wanting to combine these. You can't do that. This has an x. This doesn't. So we're just going to write 5x minus 20. You can't put things together that don't belong. Okay. Is y by itself yet? No. This says 2 times y. How would I get rid of a 2 times? Divide. So I'm going to divide by 2. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Opposites cancel. I do not, this whole thing, this whole top is divided by 2. I do not want a decimal. So I'm going to leave that, just 5 divided by 2. Leave it as a fraction. What is negative 20 divided by 2? So I'm just going to write now negative 10. We leave as a fraction. Leave as a fraction. Do not change to a decimal. We do not want to change that to a decimal. Okay. It looked like a lot of us were already ready to go. So I saw really good things. What's the first thing you got rid of? 4x. And how did you do that? Yep, minus 4x. Opposites cancel. And then whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Now the one major thing I just noticed that I saw some people doing, you forgot to bring down this negative in front of the 2. So look at yours right now. Did you remember to bring down that negative? Because that's going to make a difference. Because now I'm dividing by -2 on both sides. So -4 divided by -2 gives me what? 2x. And then 8 divided by -2 gives me -4. What do we think? All right. Remember I told you that there were 2 different kinds of formulas, that were standard form, and then there's also slope-intercept form, and then there's also point-slope form. Our goal is to turn all of them into slope-intercept form. So we just looked at standard, now we're going to look at point-slope. What do you notice is in here though? Parentheses. And this right here means I'm going to have to use what property? Does anyone remember the name of this one? Distributive, yep. So we're going to distribute. Because this right now, is y on a side by itself? Absolutely. But is it in y equals mx plus b form? No. So we need to distribute 1/2 times x. What's 1/2 times x? Just simply 1/2 x. 1/2 times -4. What's a half as a decimal? 0.5. So could you just type in 0.5 times -4? Do that. So I saw everyone really start here, distribute. So what's over here is y minus 3 equals, I get 1/2 x. Did you get plus 4? Yeah. Okay. What was the next step you did? How did I get rid of this guy? Add 3. And am I adding 3 to this or this? The 4. Because this has the x and this doesn't. So we can't put those together. Is this making a little bit of sense? Okay, what you're essentially creating is something called an equivalent expression or equivalent equation. Okay, this would represent the same line as this. So if I were to look at a graph and I got this and I didn't know how to read this, I could convert it into this and then I would know what graph belongs with which equation. Gee, does that sound like how we started today? Okay, so we've got 2 last things we're going to do. I think it's only, maybe 3. Yep. And then we're going to look at that explore one more time. So we're just recapping everything we just learned. Here's standard form. I want you to convert this to slope-intercept. When I say slope-intercept form, I mean y equals mx plus b. This is slope-intercept. Start by getting rid of the x. Get rid of that 4x. Saw a lot of people start right here. That is perfect. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Now, why can't I put these 2 together? Because I can't. But why can't I? One has an x and the other one doesn't, so they're not like terms. Then I saw this. Now, do I want to divide that and put that as a decimal? I want it left as a fraction. Okay, what I want to do now is I want you to work with your partner again. I want to see if you can match the table or the equation with the graph. Some of them you might have to convert to figure it out. I want to see how many you can match.